start with a comment on the LG, and then we can take some questions on tariffs.
Yeah, a very special day in Saskatchewan with the installation of a new Lieutenant Governor, and my congratulations to now Her Honor, Bernadette McIntyre, the Honourable Bernadette McIntyre, on her installation as Saskatchewan's 34th Lieutenant Governor, I believe, and very much, I think, will be an example, and has been an example in her life of what Saskatchewan is about, with her very avid volunteerism here in the community of Regina and across the province, and she does that due to the love that she has for her community, for her province, her nation, and serving the people that she lives beside. And so to her family, Rich, and to Her Honor Bernadette McIntyre, we extend our congratulations and very much look forward to her serving as our Lieutenant Governor in this province over the course of the next number of years. 24th. I said 34th. It's 34th Premier in Alberta. That's what it is. No questions, Wayne.
Okay. Just wondering for tariffs, how concerned should the average person in Saskatchewan be about what's coming tomorrow, potentially it's coming down?
Well, I think the concern should not only be shared in Saskatchewan, but across the nation of Canada. We are an exporting province, certainly, and we are the highest exporting province of any province in Canada. So we are concerned. But all Canadians are part of either directly working in the space of exporting products or serving people and industries that do. And so we should all be concerned as Canadians. Contrast to some degree in Saskatchewan, we are the least dependent province on our exports to the United States. That being said, they're our largest trading partner, they're our most important trading partner and ally. So this scenario that we find ourselves in is concerning, challenging, and I think each and every one of us across this nation should be doing our level best to encourage policymakers to address, yes, concerns that have been raised by President Trump, but also I think concerns in fairness that are important to Canadians as well. When you break down what has really been articulated as a priority for the President, stopping fentanyl, not only into the U.S., but into our countries and our communities as well, stopping illegal migrants from being in the continent, in our communities, and certainly we had made a commitment as Canadians to invest in our military, a NATO commitment of 2% of our economy, and we should keep our commitments. And so that's been our message. Those are the topics and the points that have been prioritized by the President. I would say they're equally important to Saskatchewan families in communities right across the country, and we should take the opportunity to address them with vigor and strength.
And so I know it's been months in the pipeline, this is a potential. What has the provincial government been doing today to prepare for that potential tomorrow?
The provincial government?
Yeah.
Working alongside, yes, our federal government, our other provincial counterparts as well. As you know, there's varying reports on what should or shouldn't be done when it comes to counter tariffs, and I don't know that we really should be escalating the discussion by talking too much about counter tariffs when we don't actually today have tariffs on, and it's our hope that we'd be able to say that tomorrow as well. In addition to that, we've been meeting with internally within the province with various industry leaders, various folks that are involved in whether it be agriculture, value-added agriculture, the fertilizer or the mining industry, the uranium mining industry, as well as our oil and gas industry on, exactly what we will need to do in the way of, maybe diverting some of those products where they can divert to other markets. We do export to over 160 countries around the world, but 55% of that product does go to the United States, so it's very significant in our largest market. But doing what we can do to buffer the impacts of tariffs should they come on, but to ensure we're doing the very best to have those tariffs removed sooner rather than later. That's why in about a week and a half I'll be in Washington, not only with my other provincial counterparts, but I'll be in Washington likely a few days prior to that as well, engaging with the contacts that we have built here in Saskatchewan, whether it be congressional leaders, whether it be governors, whether it be Senate leaders, or House leaders.
So we saw that big fentanyl bust earlier this week. Do you have any comments? I know that was by traffic services, but any comments about drugs and border security?
Sorry, what was the first one?
So we had that big fentanyl bust earlier this week. So I know that was traffic services. It wasn't. But any comments?
Credit to the law enforcement agencies, the RCMP and others that are involved in taking those drugs out of our communities, whether it be a Saskatchewan community or a Canadian community. At the end of the day, those drugs cannot be coming into our country and they can't be coming into our communities. Thus, the points of agreements that I would have, and I think many Canadians would share with President Trump, is let's do what we can to remove fentanyl, not only from crossing the 49th parallel in either direction, but remove it from our communities more broadly, because it's not a drug at all, it's poison, and it's killing our family and our friends and our community members across this nation. And we need to work together to remove it. So credit to the law enforcement officials that are involved, not only in that seizure of contraband, but the many other seizures that we're seeing as well, by the RCMP and by joint operations with provincial enforcement agencies and our municipal agencies. And so thank you to each of them individually and to the organizations as a whole. And unfortunately, we're going to have to do more of that type of work in the future, not less. That's why you're seeing us invest significantly, I would say, unlike never before in the province's history, in our municipal police force, in our RCMP officers, and also now in our Saskatchewan Marshal Service.
How much does the specific additional tariffs on oil concern you?
How much is what?
The additional tariffs on oil.
Well, there's no tariff on it today.
How much are you concerned about that?
Well, I'm concerned of any tariff on not only oil, but the agricultural products that we ship into the U.S. or anywhere else in the world, as well as the potash, mine products, uranium, and the manufactured goods. You know, we have a significant manufacturing industry here, serving not only the mining industry in Saskatchewan, but serving, making agricultural implements for much of North America and countries all around the world. And so we're doing what we can in diverting the flow of those products to other markets if necessary. But at this point in time, there are not tariffs that are on our products. We would hope, and we would ask the federal administration, the President Trump's administration, to not put those tariffs on. And we would also ask our federal government to address the priorities that President Trump has raised in removing fentanyl, removing the potential of illegal migrants crossing not only the 49th parallel, but entering our country and our continent to begin with. In addition to that, we've said that we need to honor our commitment of a 2% NATO spend as well, for investment.
Just thoughts on the will of the West, and what is your understanding of what went down in terms of the delays and some of the complaints that
Oh, my understanding is that is part of those 60 beds are part of our commitment to invest in 500 mental health and more importantly addictions recovery beds here in the province. We have contracted an organization in this case to open up 60 of those beds that are so badly needed, and that's why we set a target of 500. My understanding is they've had some challenges meeting the code of the local municipality. They're working through those challenges, and when they can open, they will most certainly open and be funded by the provincial government, and they'll be part of our 500-bed complement. Thankfully, you have a government that's committed to recovery and offering recovery opportunities for Saskatchewan people and Saskatchewan families, and these 60 beds will be part of that as soon as they are able to get their infrastructure up to code.
In terms of those meeting code and were they transparent with you?
My understanding is it was something that they ran into after we had worked through the service contract with them. And it's our hope and my understanding that these beds will be available as soon as they are able. And that's a good thing for Saskatchewan families. And I think the other positive thing in this space that unfortunately that it's necessary is you have a government that's committed not only to ensuring that those 500 recovery beds are going to be available, but if we need more, we're open to having that discussion at that point in time as well. This is the first platform of what we are doing to keep communities, families, and people safe is to provide recovery opportunities. And the second is to invest in our police officers, whether they be RCMP municipal officers or our Saskatchewan Marshal Service, in ensuring that we have the enforcement abilities to also keep our community safe, keep the drugs off our street, and keep it out of the hands of our children.
Any second thoughts about how strong an opposition concerns Saskatchewan?
Yeah, this is a significant purchase in what I would say is a very significant industry, as a spinal cord of the Saskatchewan economy, which is the agriculture industry. And we have, significantly sized global businesses that are, merging or purchasing another in this space. We do have faith in the Competition Bureau and the work that they've done. There's been a number of concerns that have been raised by our government and by others that the Bureau is working through. We have been in touch at the highest levels with Bunge throughout this process to ensure that Saskatchewan's interests are well known. One interest would be, to continue the commitment to the investment in the canola crush facility north of the city of Regina. And we'll continue to have those conversations with Bunge. But secondarily, I think, is to ensure that Saskatchewan individuals, Saskatchewan farmers have access to global markets. And Bunge most certainly is a reputable company that is going to be able to provide that. And so they're going to work their way through the Competition Bureau's process. We have raised concerns, and Bunge is busy addressing those particular concerns. And then we will work with Bunge and many other global grain buying businesses and food processing businesses that are operating right here in Saskatchewan, the largest Saskatchewan-owned being AGT.
Would you go as far as saying you oppose this merger, or you haven't reached that point, or don't plan to reach that point?
No, I wouldn't say oppose. I would say there are concerns that have been raised, and Bunge is very actively working towards addressing those concerns, whether they be from the Competition Bureau or working more broadly with the province and ag industries in Saskatchewan as well. They are in a competitive environment. And they are not the only people that are going to be looking to buy our ag products in Saskatchewan. You can see Cargill making a significant investment just west of the city of Regina. You've seen Louis Dreyfus double the size of their canola crush capacity in Yorkton, as well as Richardson and many others. AGT, we have many others that are operating, in communities across this province. And so Bunge is a large company, but they're one of a number of significantly sized companies that operate in this province in the ag industry. The foremost, most innovative and global leading ag industry.
Great. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.